After Bharata, many kings from his line ruled the land now known as Bharatavarsha. One of these kings, Hasti, founded the city of Hastinapura, and his descendant Kuru conquered the area that came to be called Kurukshetra. His descendants were known as the Kauravas. Among the rulers of Hastinapura was King Santanu, the son of Pratapa. Santanu was a remarkable king in many ways. One day, while walking outside the fort of Hastinapura, he encountered a stunningly beautiful young woman. Mesmerized by her beauty, he asked, "Who are you, and what brings you here?" The girl replied, "O noble king, my name is not important. I am here because I choose to be." Santanu, captivated by her charm, said, "No matter who you are, I want you to be my queen." The girl set some conditions. "If you want to marry me, you must never try to find out who I am or where I come from. You must never interfere with me or limit my freedom. If you break any of these rules, I will leave immediately. Think carefully before agreeing." Entranced by her beauty, Santanu agreed to her conditions and took her as his wife. They lived happily together, seemingly unaware of the passage of time. The queen gave birth to several children, but each time, she would take the newborn and throw it into the Ganges river, killing them. Despite his promise, Santanu struggled with his growing distress over these cruel acts. He often wondered about his wife's true identity and background. Aside from these horrifying acts, she was a loving and charming wife. When their 8th child was born, Santanu could no longer tolerate the slaughter and confronted his wife. "Enough of this cruelty," Santanu said with frustration. "I can no longer stand by and watch you kill our children. I must know, are you human or a demon?" The queen, holding the child and smiling gently, replied, "I am not human, nor am I the cruel figure you think I am. I am the goddess Ganga, honored by both the gods and people. My actions, though harsh, are driven by compassion." Santanu was astonished and eager to hear more. Goddess Ganga continued, "Once, the 8 Vasus, divine beings from heaven, came to earth for a visit. They saw Nandini, the sacred cow of the sage Vasista, grazing peacefully with her calf. The sight was so enchanting that the ladies in their company wanted to possess the cow and calf. Despite her husband's protest, saying that the immortals had no need for Nandini's milk as they had Amrita to drink, one lady insisted on having them. The Vasus, acting out of chivalry, seized the cow and calf by force. When sage Vasista returned and found Nandini and her calf missing, he learned of the Vasus' high-handed behavior and, in anger, cursed them to be born as mortals on earth. The Vasus learned of the curse and went to sage Vasista to ask for forgiveness. They deeply regretted their actions and pleaded for mercy. The sage agreed to forgive them all except Pravasa, who had led the wrongdoing. He softened the curse so that the other 7 Vasus could return to heaven shortly after their earthly birth, but Pravasa would have to live a long and glorious life on earth before he could go back to heaven. Goddess Ganga then said, "This child is no ordinary baby. He's the very incarnation of Pravasa, destined for great glory and to be a remarkable son. By breaking your promise, you have actually freed me from this earthly burden. Now, I must leave with the child to fulfill my duty as a mother. I will return him to you in due time. Remember, I am not a demon, but a deity bound by circumstances to perform this difficult task." Goddess Ganga vanished, leaving King Santanu in a state of shock, staring at the empty space where she had been. After this event, Santanu, now disillusioned with worldly pleasures, dedicated himself to ruling his kingdom with exceptional commitment. Goddess Ganga vanished, leaving King Santanu in a state of shock, staring at the empty space where she had been. After this event, Santanu, now disillusioned with worldly pleasures, dedicated himself to ruling his kingdom with exceptional commitment. One day, while walking by the banks of the Ganges, Santanu saw a young boy heroically building a dam out of arrows. The child seemed to play with the powerful river as though it were a loving mother. As Santanu watched in amazement, Goddess Ganga appeared holding the boy in her arms and said, "This is Devavrata, the son I bore you. He is no longer a mere child. He has studied the Vedas with sage Vasistha, learned archery from the great Parasurama at my request, and mastered the principles of governance from Sukrakarya." Santanu was overjoyed to see his son grown and accomplished. After a few days, he held a grand ceremony and officially declared Devavrata as the Yuvaraja, the heir to the throne. Santanu was overjoyed to see his son grown and accomplished. After a few days, he held a grand ceremony and officially declared Devavrata as the Yuvaraja, the heir to the throne.